A first date is one of the most misunderstood rituals in the modern world. For many women, it has become a strange and exhausting combination of a job interview and a therapy session. The job interview part is a frantic and often clumsy performance. You arrive with a mental resume of your best qualities, your accomplishments, your most charming stories. You are an applicant, auditioning for the role of worthy partner. You find yourself constantly monitoring the interviewer, him, for signs of approval. You answer his questions, hoping you are giving the right answer. You laugh a little too loudly at his jokes. You are a candidate, desperately trying to prove that you are qualified for a position you are not even sure you want. Then there is the therapy session. This is the part of you that has been taught that the path to intimacy is through radical, immediate vulnerability. And so, in a misguided attempt to create an instant bond, you overshare. You lay the sacred and often painful story of your past on the table for a near stranger to inspect. You talk about your last heartbreak, your childhood wounds, your deepest insecurities, hoping that this act of baring your soul will be met with a profound connection. You are a patient, offering your wounds to a man you have just met, hoping he will be a gentle doctor. But here is the truth that will set you free. A first date is neither a job interview nor a therapy session, and the woman who treats it as such is operating from a place of low value. She is either seeking his approval or seeking his salvation. In both cases, she has already given away all of her power. The high-value woman understands the true purpose of a first date. It is not to get him to like you, it is to create intrigue and to gather data. She is not there to audition for a role in his life. She is there calmly and quietly to conduct an audition for a potential role in hers. She is not the applicant, she is the CEO. She is not the patient, she is the psychologist. This video will reveal the 7 secrets, the things a high-value woman never reveals on a first date. These are not about playing games or being dishonest. They are the principles of a woman who understands that her inner world is a sacred territory, not a public park. They are the secrets that allow her to maintain her power, to create a profound and magnetic intrigue, and to set the stage for a dynamic in which he, not she, is the one who feels compelled to pursue. The first secret, and perhaps the most difficult for the modern woman to grasp, is a profound act of self-possession that goes against everything we have been taught about vulnerability. The first secret of the high-value woman is that on a first date she never ever reveals her deepest wounds. Let us be absolutely clear. This is not about being fake. This is not about being dishonest. This is about understanding the profound difference between authentic vulnerability and what is often, in reality, unconscious trauma dumping. The woman operating from the good girl or the wounded child archetype has learned a dangerous and popular myth that the fastest way to create a deep, intimate bond is to share your deepest pain. She believes that baring her soul, revealing her past heartbreaks, her family traumas and her darkest insecurities will be seen as a courageous act of vulnerability. She is hoping to create a trauma bond, a connection forged in the fires of a shared emotional history. And so when the man on the date asks the inevitable question, "Tell me about your last relationship," she sees it as her opening. She launches into a long, detailed, and often emotional monologue about how her ex betrayed her, about the pain she endured, about the trust issues she now has. She is, with the best of intentions, showing him her open wounds. She is unconsciously saying to him, "Here is my brokenness. Can you see it? Will you be the one to finally heal it?" She believes she is being vulnerable, but what she is actually doing is handing a near stranger a scalpel and a set of instructions for how to perform surgery on her own soul. The high-value woman understands that a first date is not an operating room, and the man across from her is not her surgeon. She understands that her wounds and the sacred work of healing them are her own private responsibility. Think of your inner world as a magnificent and sacred temple. A first date is a meeting in the beautiful public courtyard of that temple. You are showing him the impressive architecture, the beautiful fountains, the general atmosphere of your kingdom. But your deepest wounds, your most sacred stories of pain and resilience, they do not reside in the courtyard. They reside in the innermost sanctum, the Holy of Holies, a place that is veiled and protected. Access to this sacred space is not given away with a first date ticket. It is a profound privilege that must be earned over time, through the consistent demonstration of his trustworthiness, his character, and his own emotional maturity. When a woman trauma dumps on a first date, she is not just being unwise with her own sacred story, she is also sending a series of powerful and deeply unattractive, unconscious signals to the man. She is signaling that she is a project. She is signaling that she is looking for a therapist, not a partner. She is signaling that her past is an unresolved drama that will likely spill into the present. This does not make a healthy, high-value man want to draw closer. It makes him want to back away, not because he is afraid of emotion, but because he is not interested in signing up for the job of being her savior. So what does the high-value woman do instead? When he asks about her past, she is not evasive or dishonest. She is simply and powerfully concise. She has already done the alchemical work of transforming her pain into wisdom, so she does not show him the wound. She shows him the healed scar. Instead of a long emotional story, she will say something calm, brief, and forward-looking. Something like, "It was a relationship that taught me some incredibly valuable lessons about the importance of integrity and clear communication. I'm grateful for the growth, and I'm really excited about what this next chapter of my life holds." This response is a masterclass in high-value communication. It shows she has a past, but she is not a prisoner of it. It shows she has learned from her pain, but she is not defined by it. It shows that she is a woman of resilience, of wisdom, and of profound emotional self-possession. She has not shown him her wounds. She has demonstrated her strength. And a man is not attracted to a woman's pain, but he is deeply and irresistibly in awe of her strength. The second secret of the high-value woman is a profound act of trusting the process. It is a secret that allows the magic of a new connection to unfold organically, without being suffocated by the pressure of a predetermined outcome. The second secret is that on a first date, she never reveals her specific relationship timeline. The woman operating from the good girl or the anxious orphan archetype often makes a mistake that feels on the surface like a powerful and honest move. She believes in being upfront. She has been told that to avoid wasting her time, she must immediately state her intentions, her goals, her timeline. And so, on the first or second date, she will say it. "I'm at a stage in my life where I'm looking for something serious. I want to be married and have children within the next 3 years." She believes this is an act of strength, a way to weed out the men who are not on the same page. But what she is actually doing, with the best of intentions, is committing a profound act of energetic sabotage. Think of a first date as the first chapter of a magnificent, suspenseful novel. The author has just introduced a compelling new character, you. The reader, him, is intrigued. He is captivated by the mystery, by the potential of the story. He wants to know what will happen next. The woman who reveals her entire timeline on the first date is like an author who has printed the final concluding sentence of the novel on the very first page. And they all lived happily ever after. The story is over before it has even begun. The suspense is gone, the mystery is solved. The reader's desire to turn the pages, to invest in the journey of the characters, to discover the plot for himself, is completely annihilated. The high-value woman is a master storyteller. She knows that the joy of a good story is in the slow, delicious unfolding of the plot. She does not reveal the ending in the first chapter. This is not about being dishonest. It is about understanding the psychology of masculine energy. Masculine energy in its healthy form is goal-oriented. It thrives on the journey, on the pursuit, on the delicious tension of moving toward a prize. When you lay out your entire life plan and timeline, you're not inviting him on a journey. You are giving him a job application. The role is husband. The deadline is 3 years. He is no longer a potential partner in a beautiful, unfolding adventure. He is a candidate, being evaluated for a position. This creates a profound pressure that instantly kills the organic, romantic, and playful energy of courtship. Furthermore, it unconsciously signals to him that your desire is for an outcome, marriage, and that he is simply a candidate to fill that role. A man of substance does not want to be a candidate. He wants to be chosen uniquely and specifically for who he is. So what does the high-value woman do instead? She is not dishonest about her desires, but she communicates them through values, not through timelines. When he asks her what she is looking for, the good girl will talk about the destination. I'm looking for a serious, committed relationship. The high-value woman will talk about the quality of the journey. She will say something like, I'm always open to a deep and meaningful connection, but I'm in no rush. I'm really enjoying the process of getting to know new people and seeing what unfolds. When the conversation turns to life goals, she does not talk about her timeline for marriage. She talks about the values that a marriage represents to her. She will say, I deeply value partnership, building a life with someone where there's a foundation of profound trust and shared adventure. Notice the difference. She is communicating that she is a serious woman with serious values, but she is doing so from a place of fullness, not of lack. She is not a woman with a desperate, empty slot in her life that needs to be filled. She is a woman on her own magnificent journey who is open to a worthy companion joining her. This is dangerously magnetic. It communicates that she is not a game player, but it also communicates that she is the prize. It creates a sense of challenge. He realizes that to be a part of her world, he cannot simply fill a role. He must prove himself to be a worthy travel companion, one whose presence is so compelling that she would choose to alter her own beautiful journey to include him. This does not make him feel pressured, it makes him feel inspired to be the best version of himself. The third secret of the high-value woman is an act of profound, energetic hygiene. It is about protecting the sacred space of a new connection from the often corrupting influence of the material world. The third secret is that on a first date, she never reveals the details of her financial status, whether it is high or low. Money is a form of power, and it is a topic that is deeply charged with ego, insecurity, and social programming. A woman who does not understand this will often, with the best of intentions, misuse this topic on a first date, sabotaging the very connection she is hoping to build. She typically makes one of two mistakes. The first is the mistake of the damsel in distress. If she is struggling financially, she might subtly, or not so subtly, hint at her difficulties. She might complain about her rent, talk about her car troubles, or mention how expensive the restaurant is. She may believe she is being vulnerable or simply honest about her life, but what she is unconsciously doing is testing him. She is holding out a cup, waiting to see if he will be the provider, the savior. She is, without meaning to, turning the first date into an interview for the role of her financial benefactor. A man of substance is not looking for a dependent, he is looking for a partner. And this energy of neediness, of testing, is the very antithesis of attraction. The second mistake is that of the overachieving performer. If she is financially successful, she might feel the urge to showcase this. She will talk about her high-powered job, her investments, her recent expensive vacation. She believes she is communicating her value, her independence, her success. She is trying to say, I am not a damsel in distress, I am a woman of high value. But what she is often unconsciously communicating is, my value is tied to my success. I need you to be impressed by my achievements to see me as worthy. This is not a demonstration of her inherent value. It is a performance of her external value. It can be perceived as bragging. It can trigger a man's own insecurities. And most importantly, it shifts the focus of the date from a connection of souls to a comparison of resumes. The high-value woman understands that a first date is a sacred and fragile space. It is an exploration of energetic and psychological resonance. It is a space to discover. Do we laugh at the same things? Is his presence calming to my nervous system? Does the conversation flow with ease? Am I intrigued by the way his mind works? These are the questions that build the foundation of a real connection. Think of the first date as an art gallery. You are there to wander through the gallery of his soul, and he is there to wander through yours. You are there to appreciate the art, the unique colors of his personality, the deep textures of his character. The topic of money in this context is like stopping in front of a magnificent painting and asking, how much did the frame cost? It is a question so wildly out of place that it instantly cheapens the entire experience. It shows that you are not there to appreciate the art, you are there to appraise the assets. So what does she do instead? When he asks, "What do you do for a living?" she does not talk about her salary or her title. She talks about her passion. She talks about what she loves about her work, what she is learning, the parts of it that make her feel alive. She is revealing her purpose, not her paycheck. If he were to ask a direct and inappropriate question about her finances, she would see it as a valuable piece of data, and she would hold her boundary with a calm and graceful firmness. She might say with a gentle smile, "I prefer to keep finances private, especially when I'm just getting to know someone. I'd much rather hear about what you're passionate about." This response is a powerful filter. A man who is looking for a transactional connection will be put off by this boundary. A man of substance will be impressed by it. By keeping her financial world a private matter, she is silently and powerfully communicating, "I am here to connect with you, the man, the soul, not with your wallet or your status, and I am inviting you to do the same." This demonstrates that her value system is based on character, not on currency, and that is a sign of immense and profound worth. The fourth secret is an act of profound emotional hygiene and a powerful demonstration of a woman's own healed state. It is a secret that is often broken with the best of intentions, but which has a devastatingly negative impact on a man's perception of her. The fourth secret is that on a first date, she never reveals her detailed negative opinions of her exes. The woman operating from her wounds, the good girl who is still in pain, often sees the ex-boyfriend conversation as an opportunity. She believes on an unconscious level that trashing her ex will accomplish several things. First, she believes it will create a sense of instant camaraderie, a feeling of us against him. Second, she thinks it will demonstrate that she has high standards and will not tolerate bad behavior. And third, it is a test. She is watching to see if he will take her side, if he will be the hero who validates her past pain. And so she brings a ghost to the table. The man she is on a date with is no longer the only man in the room. He is now forced to sit and listen to a long, bitter monologue about the ghost of another man. She will detail his flaws, recount his betrayals, and list his crimes. She is, in essence, opening up a cold case file and asking him to be the detective who helps her solve it. She thinks she is being vulnerable and honest, but she is making a profound strategic error. A man of substance, a man who is emotionally intelligent, is not listening to the story about her ex. He is listening to the story she is telling about herself. And what is that story? The story is that she is a woman who is still a prisoner of her past. The story is that she has not yet transformed her wounds into wisdom. The story is that she may be a person who sees herself as a victim. And most importantly, he is thinking a very simple and self-protective thought. One day, if this doesn't work out, is this how she will talk about me? By bringing the ghost of her ex to the table, she has not created a sacred space for two. She has created a crowded and uncomfortable space for three. The high-value woman has already done the work. She has processed her past. She has composted her resentments. And she understands that a first date is a sacred space for a new beginning, not a courtroom for an old trial. She has no interest in bringing ghosts to the table. So what does she do when the inevitable question arises? "So, what happened with your last boyfriend?" She does not lie. She does not perform a fake, overly positive story. She simply and powerfully practices the art of graceful neutrality. She has already done the work of finding the lesson in the pain, and she offers the lesson, not the pain. Her response is calm, brief, and respectful, both to herself and to the man from her past. She might say something like, "We were two good people who ultimately wanted different things in life. I learned a lot from that relationship, and I wish him well." Or, "It was a connection that taught me a great deal about myself and what I truly value in a partner. I'm grateful for the lessons." Notice the profound power of these statements. They do not evade the question, but they firmly close the door to any further drama. She is not offering an invitation into a long, bitter story. She is demonstrating that the book is closed. This is dangerously magnetic. Her graceful neutrality sends a series of powerful, high-value signals. It signals that she is emotionally mature. It signals that she takes responsibility for her own past. It signals that she is free of bitterness and drama. And, most importantly, It signals to him that the space he is in with her is clean, clear, and available for a new story to be written. He doesn't have to compete with a ghost. He can relax, knowing that he is in the presence of a woman who has the strength and the grace to honor her past without being a prisoner of it. The fifth secret is a masterclass in the art of creating intrigue and inviting a man on a journey rather than presenting him with a destination. It is the understanding that the future is a mystery to be co-created, not a rigid plan to be presented. The fifth secret of the high-value woman is that on a first date, she never reveals her full, detailed life plan. The woman operating from a place of anxiety, even if she is highly successful, often mistakes a first date for a business meeting. In an attempt to showcase how ambitious, organized, and put together she is, she will lay out her 5-year plan like a quarterly report. She will talk about the exact career milestones she plans to hit, the specific timeline for marriage and children, the suburb she intends to buy a house in. She believes she is communicating her high value and her seriousness. She believes she is being an open and honest partner, but what she is actually doing is making a profound psychological error. She is not inviting him on an adventure. She is interviewing him for a job whose description has already been written. Think of the difference between a roadmap and a compass. The woman who reveals her entire life plan is handing him a detailed, laminated roadmap. Every highway, every turn, every rest stop, and the final destination are already marked. She is not asking him to help navigate. She is asking him to be a passenger or at best a co-pilot on a trip that is already completely planned. The journey becomes a test. Can he keep up? Does he fit the itinerary? Is he a suitable passenger for this predetermined route? This creates a profound pressure and removes any sense of shared adventure. The masculine soul is not deeply stirred by the prospect of following someone else's map. It is stirred by the thrill of exploring an unknown territory together. The high-value woman is not a roadmap. She is a compass. She knows her true north. She knows her values, her passions, her non-negotiables. She knows the direction she is heading. But she is open to the journey. She trusts her ability to navigate the terrain as it comes. She is an explorer, not a tour guide. What does this look like in practice? When he asks her about her future, she does not give him a timeline, she gives him a vision. The roadmap woman says, "I want to be married in 2 years and have my first child by 35. The compass woman says, "I see my future filled with a deep partnership, a lot of laughter and the joy of building a family whenever the time is right." The first is a deadline. The second is a desire. The first is a pressure to be met. The second is an invitation to co-create. This is the very essence of being the guardian of her mystery. Her future is the most mysterious and exciting part of her story. By revealing her values but not her rigid plan, she communicates a series of powerfully magnetic qualities. She signals that she is adaptable, that she trusts the flow of life, and that she is not a rigid automaton following a script. She signals that she is not looking for a man to simply slot into her pre-existing life, but a true partner to build a new and unknown world with. This does not make him feel tested. It makes him feel inspired. It makes him want to be a part of her expedition. He is not being asked to follow her map. He is being invited to join her on a thrilling journey into the unknown, guided only by the steady and beautiful compass of her soul. And for a man of substance, there is no greater adventure. The sixth secret is a profound act of energetic self-preservation that is often mistaken for arrogance, but is, in fact, a sign of deep self-respect. It is a secret that requires a woman to stop being her own worst enemy on the stage of a first date. The sixth secret is that she never reveals her deep-seated self-criticisms. The woman who is still a good girl, the one who is still seeking approval, has often learned to use self-deprecation as a social tool. She believes it makes her seem more humble, more relatable, and less intimidating. She will be the first one to point out her own perceived flaws. When she receives a compliment, she will immediately counter it with a reason why she doesn't deserve it. "You look beautiful tonight." "Oh, thank you, but I feel so bloated and my hair is a mess." She will make jokes at her own expense, laughing about how awkward she is or how terrible she is at a certain skill, She is, with the best of intentions, trying to connect, but what she is unconsciously doing is handing the man a detailed, annotated user's manual to all of her own weaknesses. She is essentially saying, "Here are all the reasons I am not good enough. Here are all the ways you can hurt me. And here is where you will find the cracks in my foundation." The high-value woman understands a fundamental truth. A first date is not the time to hand over the keys to your own insecurities. She is not being fake. She is not pretending to be perfect. She is simply practicing profound discernment. She knows that her relationship with her own inner critic, her own doubts, and her own self-work is a private and often sacred practice. It is not a topic of conversation for a near stranger. It is not light-hearted entertainment. Think of it this way. Your self-worth is a magnificent and powerful fortress. The high-value woman knows that, like any fortress, hers may have hidden vulnerabilities, areas that are still under construction, or old battle scars. But she would never dream of giving a visiting ambassador a tour of those weak points on his first visit. To do so would be a profound act of strategic foolishness. She will show him the impressive towers, the beautiful courtyards, the strength of her walls. The privilege of being shown the secret, vulnerable passages of the fortress is a sign of deep trust, a trust that must be earned over a long period of consistent, honorable behavior. What does this look like in practice? It is the art of graciously receiving a compliment. When he says she looks beautiful, she does not deflect. She simply says, "Thank you. That's very kind of you to say." She allows his positive observation to stand without needing to correct it with her own negative self-perception. It means she does not make herself the punchline of her own jokes. She can be funny and charming without sacrificing her own dignity. This is dangerously magnetic because it communicates an unshakable and profound sense of self-worth. A man is, on a primal level, attracted to a woman's confidence. When you constantly criticize yourself, you are essentially doing his work for him. You are pointing out all the reasons he shouldn't value you. You are telling him that you do not believe in your own product. But when you refuse to engage in self-deprecation, when you present yourself as a woman who is comfortable with her own strengths and is not seeking pity for her weaknesses, you send a powerful signal. You signal that you are not looking for him to be your therapist or your cheerleader. You are not looking for him to fix you. You are presenting yourself as a whole, sovereign, and self-respecting equal. And to a man of substance, a woman who already knows her own value is the most valuable and desirable woman in the room. We arrive now at the seventh and final secret. It is the most subtle, the most powerful, and the one that underpins all the others. It is the secret that separates the woman who is playing a game from the woman who is running the world. The final secret is that she never ever reveals that she is the one conducting the audition. The woman operating from a place of insecurity, the good girl, walks into a first date and immediately takes her place on the applicant's side of the desk. Her entire focus is on her own performance. Am I being charming enough? Is my story interesting? Does he think I'm beautiful? Her energy is directed outward, seeking his approval. At the end of the date, the only question in her mind is, did he like me? Did I get the job? The high-value woman walks into the same date, sits at the same table, but she is on the other side of the desk. She is not the applicant. She is the CEO. She is not there to be interviewed. She is there to conduct a quiet, subtle, and profound interview of her own. But here is the secret. Her audition is completely invisible. She is not sitting there with a clipboard and a checklist. She is not asking a series of aggressive, probing questions. On the surface, she is the most wonderful date you could imagine. She is present. She is curious. She is warm. She is laughing. She appears to be completely in the moment, simply enjoying the connection. But on a deeper, sovereign level of her being, a part of her is a calm, detached, and wise observer. She is quietly gathering data. She is not listening to what he says as much as how he says it. When he talks about his ex, is he speaking with bitterness or with grace? This reveals his level of emotional maturity. When he interacts with the waiter, is he respectful or dismissive? This reveals his true character when he is not trying to impress her. When she shares a small success, does he seem genuinely happy for her, or does his ego feel subtly threatened? This reveals his capacity for partnership. When she sets a small, soft boundary, does he respect it, Or does he subtly push against it? This reveals his respect for her sovereignty. She is not a detective looking for a flaw. She is a wise queen, assessing the character of a potential ally. And the most powerful part of this secret is that he never feels like he is being tested. He does not feel the pressure of an interview, because her external energy is one of pure, warm presence. He simply feels that he is in the company of a wonderfully engaging and authentic woman. This is dangerously magnetic. A man can feel, on an unconscious level, when he is being auditioned from a place of fear or a checklist. But when he is in the presence of a woman who is simply and quietly a discerning observer, he feels something else. He feels that he is in the presence of a woman with profound and unshakable standards. He feels that her interest is not a given. He feels that her approval is not easily won. This flips the entire dynamic. He, the man who is accustomed to being the one who chooses, suddenly feels the subtle, unspoken need to prove himself. He is no longer just trying to see if he likes her. He is beginning to wonder if she will truly like him. He is no longer the CEO, he is the candidate. The secret is not that she is auditioning him. The secret is that she does it so silently, so gracefully, and with such a warm and present energy that he never even sees the desk. He only knows that he is in the presence of a queen, and he feels a profound and compelling urge to be worthy of her court. We have now journeyed through the 7 unspoken rules of the forgotten language of feminine magnetism. The unspoken invitation, being the guardian of your own mystery, making your pleasure your priority, varying your energetic weather, speaking in sensory language, seeing him as a man and not a project, and being able to receive his full power. But as we conclude, we must make one final, crucial distinction. These 7 rules are not a checklist of tactics in a game of seduction. Her game is about winning and losing. It has opponents, it has strategies, and its goal is to trap and conquer. The woman who plays games, even if she wins, is left with a prize that has been captured, not a heart that has been willingly offered. This is not a game. It is an art form. Think of the difference between a chess player and a master musician. The chess player is always thinking 3 moves ahead. She sees the other person as an opponent to be outwitted. Her mind is always working, calculating, strategizing. The master musician is not trying to win. She is trying to create beauty. She is not focused on her opponent, but on the music itself. Her goal is not to trap the other instruments, but to create such a profound and beautiful harmony with them that the entire symphony is elevated. The 7 rules are the practice of becoming a master musician of your own feminine energy. The goal is not to trap a man, but to create a connection so deep, so authentic, and so vibrant that he never has a reason to leave. The ultimate power is not found in the rules themselves, but in the self-possessed, sovereign woman who embodies them. She is not playing a game he feels caught in. She is creating a beautiful piece of music he never wants to end.